Dear students, in this session of design of gear, we will go through an important topic, that is classification of gear. This particular topic is important to understand for the design of gear because for the proper selection of different types of gear is important for the different types of application. So while going through this particular session, we will able to understand how the different types of gear are selected for the particular application. So this slide represents the different types of gear. The first one, this one, is the spur gear. Second one is the helical gear. The images looks similar, but the difference is that in spur gear, the gear tooth profile is parallel to the axis of the gear, while in case of helical gear, the gear tooth profile is inclined to the axis of the gear. Third one, this one, C, is the double helical gear or herringbone gear. We already know that in case of helical gear, the third reaction other than the tangential force and radial force, the axial force exists. So to cancel out the axial or thrust component, double helical gear or herringbone gears are used. Fourth one, D, is the internal gear. For the internal gear train, the one gear is having the annual ring, which is having the internal gear teeth on the inner periphery. The internal gears are used to have the compact design. Fifth one, that is the E, is the rack and pinion. The smaller gear is known as the pinion, while the segment of the linear gear or the gear having the infinite diameter, that segment is known as the rack. These are used to transmit the rotary motion to the linear motion or linear motion to the rotary motion. F, G and H are the different types of bevel gear. The difference is only in the form of the gear tooth on the bevel gear. So first one is having the straight gear tooth, while the G, this one, is having the gear tooth profile is in the form of the spiral, while in this case H, the gear tooth profile is in the form of the hypoid. Now I and J are the worm gears. I is the worm gear and worm, while J is the same, but the form of the gear tooth profile is different, which is in the form of the spiral. Now we will see one by one. The first classification of gear based on layout of the shaft, that is according to the position of the axis of the shaft, that is parallel. So spur gear, as we know that the spur gear and helical gears are used for the power transmission or layout of the shaft is parallel. So spur gears, the teeth are parallel to the axis of rotation. You can see in this figure the tooth profile are parallel to the axis. Spur gears are used to transmit power from one shaft to the another parallel shaft. You can see over here, one is the driver and which is driving the another gear, that is driven gear, and transmitting the power from one shaft to the another shaft, which are parallel. The profile of tooth is in shape of an involute curve and it remains identical along the entire width of the gear tooth. Spur gears are simple in construction, easy to manufacture and cost less. As the tooth profile is straight, parallel to axis, so their construction is simple and their manufacturing easy, and because of that reason the spur gear cost less compared to helical gear. Spur gear have highest efficiency and excellent precision rating. They are used in high speed and high load application in all type of trains and wide range of velocity ratios. The spur gears are having the wide range of applications starting from the clocks, household gadgets, motorcycles, automobiles and railways and aircraft. So we can see that the spur gears are used for the most of all type of different applications. When there is a limitation, we will go for the, or we will look for the another alternative. So the another alternative to transmit power between the two parallel axes is the helical gear. The teeth on helical gears are cut at an angle to the face of the gear or to the axis of the shaft. In this figure, you can see that this one represents the spur gear, which are having the gear tooth profile parallel to axis, while these two are the helical gear, which are having the tooth profile inclined to the axis or inclined to the face of the gear. The gradual engagement makes helical gear operates much more smoothly and quietly than spur gear. We know that in helical gears, the engagement between two mating gear is gradually. Means it starts from the point engagement and gradually it increases to the linear engagement. So that makes the operation of helical gear is smooth and quiet compared to the spur gear. While in spur gear there will be a direct contact between the gear tooth along the full width from beginning to the end of the engagement, and that makes the initial engagement is like an impact loading, and because of that reason the operation of spur gear is noisy. The helical gears have an involute profile which is similar to the spur gear. In spur gear also we have seen that there is a involute profile of the gear tooth, and the magnitude of the helix angle of pinion and gear is same. This is the required condition when you are using the helical gear to transmit power or motion from one shaft to another shaft. So for in a particular gear train, both the gears should have the same magnitude of helix. However, the hand of helix is opposite. That means the right hand helix should match with the left hand helix. So in this figure, we can see that how we can identify whether the helical gear is having left hand helix or helical gear is having right hand helix. So for the left hand helix, if we consider our left hand, then the thumb direction, if that thumb direction aligned with the direction of the tooth, then that type of helical gear is known as the left hand helix gear. And when the right hand is considered and the thumb direction points towards the direction of the gear tooth profile on the helical gear, then that type of helical gear is known as the right hand helical gear. A right hand pinion matches with a left hand gear or vice versa. For the same width, their teeth are longer. Means for the same width, helical gears, the teeth are longer than the spur gear and have higher load carrying capacity. We can see over here the gear tooth are parallel to the axis, and in case of helical gear tooth are inclined to the axis. That means for the same width of the gear for spur gear as well as for the helical gear, the width of the gear tooth is less compared to width of the gear tooth for the helical gear, less for the spur gear compared to the helical gear. Their contact ratio is higher than spur gears, means due to the higher width, the contact ratio between two mating teeth is higher than the spur gear, and the operation is smoother and quieter than the spur gear. The helical gears are having precision rating is good, and they are recommended for very high speed and high load condition. The helical gears find wide application in automotive gearboxes. Their efficiency is slightly lower than the spur gear, and the helix angle also introduces axial thrust on the shaft. So this point we have to consider while designing the helical gear, that is the axial thrust produced due to the helix angle provided on the gear tooth. So because of that reason, means the introduction of axial thrust will make the design of shaft complicated. Even selection of bearing also the axial thrust makes the complicated one. To avoid the axial thrust, two helical gears of opposite hand can be mounted side by side so that the axial thrust which are in opposite direction can be eliminated. So herringbone gears are nothing but the single gear which are having the helix in both the direction as a right hand configuration as well as a left hand configuration. Next we have the internal gear. So internal gears are used for transmitting the power between two parallel shafts. In these gears, the annular wheel are having teeth on the inner periphery. You can see that this one is the annular wheel which is having the teeth on the inner periphery, and this type of configuration makes the drive very compact compared to the gear train which is having the external teeth. Internal gears are not recommended for precision machines because of design, fabrication and inspection limitation. They should only be used when internal feature is necessary. Next we have rack and pinion mechanism. We know that rack is the segment of the linear gear and pinion is the small gear. So rack is a segment of the gear of infinite diameter. Rack and pinion gears are used to convert rotary motion into linear motion. We can see in this animation that linear motion of rack is converted into the rotary motion of pinion, or rotary motion of pinion is converted into the linear motion of rack. A perfect example of this is the steering system of many cars. These two are another example which mostly the students see in the workshops. One is the lathe carriage drive mechanism, which is having the rack and pinion mechanism. Okay. Another one is the radial drilling machine, which is the mechanism which is used for the spindle movement is using the rack and pinion mechanism. Next is the bevel gear. Now, according to the position of the axis of the shaft, which is intersecting, the spur gear, helical gear, and internal gears are considered for the axis of the shaft which are parallel. Now we are considering the axis of the shaft intersecting. So for that, bevel gears are used. Gears are useful when the direction of a shaft's rotation needs to be changed. And bevel gears are usually mounted on the shafts. They are 90 degrees apart. This particular figure shows that the axis of two bevel gears are at 90 degree, but can be designed to work at other angle also. So second figure means this figure is having the angle between the two axes of the bevel gear which is less than 90. So that is also possible. The teeth on bevel gears can be straight, spiral and high power. This we have already discussed that bevel gears have the different types of gear tooth form, that is straight, spiral and high power. Bevel gears are generally used for the locomotives, marine application, automobiles, printing presses, cooling towers, power plants, steel plants, railway track inspection machines, etc. Bevel gears are having the wide application in the automobile differentials, right angle drives of the blenders and conveyors. A typical application of straight bevel gear is in differential application. Next is the worm gear. Worm gears are used when large gear reductions are needed. It is common for worm gears to have the reduction of 20:1 and even up to 300:1 or greater. It is possible using the worm gear. So for the high speed reduction, we generally prefer the worm gear. Many worm gears have an interesting property that no gear set has. The worm can easily turn the gear. Worm can easily turn the gear, but the gear cannot turn the worm. So one-way transmission is possible. Worm can easily turn the gear. Means motion from worm can be easily transmitted to the gear. But the motion of gear cannot be easily transmitted or cannot be transmitted to the worm. So this you can consider as a limitation. Higher speed ratio gears are non-reversible. Their precision rating is fair to good, and they need good lubrication for the heat dissipation and for improving the efficiency. Worm gears are used widely in material handling and transportation machinery, machine tools, automobiles, etc. An industrial worm gear box used for the converting horizontal to vertical drive is shown in this image. So we can see that this particular shaft is having horizontal axis while this worm gear which is having the vertical axis. So we can transmit the motion of horizontal shaft to the vertical shaft. Now the next point is the selection of gear. The first step in the design of gear drive is the selection of a proper type of gear for a given particular application. While going through the classification, we have discussed the different types of gear with their limitations and advantages and possible applications. So now based on the limitations, advantages and possible applications, we can select the particular type of gear. So different factors are considered for the selections of gear. The first one is the general layout of shaft. We know that for the power transmission between two parallel shafts, we can go for the spur gear as well as for the helical gear, or some applications we can go for the internal gear. For the intersecting shaft, we are going for the bevel gear, and for the non-intersecting, non-parallel shaft, we are going for the worm gear. Next is the speed reduction. Worm gear, as we have discussed, worm gear are used for the higher speed reduction. Next is the power to be transmitted. Depending on the high power transmission or low power transmission, accordingly the type of gear can be selected. Next is the initial speed. Input speed to the gearbox is an important criteria to select the types of gear. Of course, the cost is an important criteria for design of any mechanical system. So here, for the proper selection of gear, cost also we have to consider. Now we will see one by one the different factors for the proper selection of the gear. The layout of shaft, parallel, intersecting, non-parallel and non-intersecting. These three possible cases are there. So when shafts are parallel, in which spur gear and helical gears are selected. When shafts intersect at right angles, bevel gears are used. Lastly, when the shafts perpendicular and non-intersecting, worm and worm wheel are used. Speed reduction. Normally, for a single pair of spur or helical gears, 6:1 speed reduction is considered. In rare case, it may increase to 10:1. When velocity ratio increases, size of gear increases, and that results into the size of the gearbox and material cost. Because of this particular point, the speed reduction criteria is considered for the proper selection of gear. For high speed reduction, two-stage or three-stage construction are used. For bevel gears, velocity ratio is 1:1 and which can be increased to 3:1. So very low velocity ratio, or for the low speed reduction, we can go for the bevel gear. And for high speed reduction, worm gears are most suitable up to the 100:1. So the data is summarized over here. That is, for gear and helical gear, the normal speed reduction is 6:1 and which can be increased to 10:1. And for bevel gear, the speed reduction is 1:1. Almost the same speed can be transmitted from one shaft to another shaft, and that can be increased to 3:1. And for worm and worm wheels, the normal speed reduction is 60:1 and that can be increased up to 100:1. For spur and helical gears, if the ratio increases, the size of gear also increases, which results into increase of gearbox and increase in material cost. For high speed reduction, worm gears are used. Generally, worm gears are used in material handling equipment. Next, we have the different factors. Apart from layout of shaft and speed reduction, the power to be transmitted is also considered for the proper selection of the different types of gear. For high power transmission and high speed transmission with quiet operation or smoother operation, of course, we have already discussed that the helical gears are used. Next, we have the input speed, and at the last, the cost. Cost is the ultimate criteria to have the proper selection of the gear with more efficiency. From the consideration of speed application, helical gear is more recommended for high speed application because it does not make noise as compared to the spur gear. So from the consideration of cost, spur gears are the lowest and are easy and have many methods for the manufacturing it, whereas other gears are costly and have complex method of manufacturing. So according to these two statements, the selection of proper type of gear is an important criteria of design of gear. I hope the topic is clear.